Yeah, I realised my mic was muted through the whole entire thing, so I was talking away to yous, but was actually talking to myself. That's quite embarrassing, but stuff like that happens. I had a friend come over and I muted my mic, and I quit the game and went on this. So started streaming, didn't realise. But now, let's get into it. PS4 and PC is now cross-shared play with this game. So PC players can now play with PlayStation players, which is a good thing, but it also makes the game harder. I mean, I did like my PC player, too confusing for me, so I switched to PlayStation. It's just the way it is. Now, this was originally a PC game. Cheers for the invite, buddy, but I'm going to go on PUBG after this. I need to show these guys why I like this game and the ups and downs to it. I mean, the PC players have the advantage, because PC, you've got more fucking, capability. With a joypad, you haven't really got much. I mean, you can get a modded joypad. I don't like modded joypads. I refuse to get one. I'll stick to the joypad that comes with the console, because that's the way a gaming should be. Well, let's get into it now that I'm loaded in. You can even use the touchpad. You don't have to use the joypad, you can use the touchpad. I've never really used the touchpad, to be fair, apart from to check me messages and to do me stuff. You'll also get a daily reward every day. The higher the day goes, tomorrow it'll be 10%, 500%, 10%, 500%, 150%. So they're high ones, these are mediums, and they're lows. It is worth logging in every day just to get it. Even if you're not playing the game, just log in, get your reward, log back out, build up your coins. These eagle things you get through the offline tutorial. The tutorial gives you stuff so you can boost your research. This is your research here, L2. You can research stug tanks. I'll go into the one where I've got more researched. There we go. Like this, rank 2s and stuff like that. Doesn't matter about what rank tanks you got, because even if you rank 1 tanks, you'll still be fighting rank 2, rank 3, rank 4, and so on. But the good thing about that, rank 1 tanks can kill a rank 5 tank. A rank 5 tank can kill a 1 rank tank, obviously, but it does level the playing field a bit. As you can see, my tank realistic battle is sitting at a 3.7, just under 2 battle. It's going to sit at a 3.7 until I change my class, which will... No, that's my high. That's a 4.3. And that's a 3.7. I haven't really got any 1 rank tanks, even though they're like this is 1 rank tanks I've got equipped. I've only got 2 that's in rank 2, but it's sitting at a rank 3 because of my upgrades. Your upgrades are pretty straightforward: elevation, tank leadership, spotting, stuff like that. The higher your stats are, the more you can see on a battlefield. The difference is, tank arcade, that's where your tank commanding comes in. You can spot people a lot better on tank arcade because they light up, they come in a red little cursor, and you can see them. As long as they can see you, you can see them. I don't personally like arcade battle, I call it a pussy mode, so does my friend John. My friend John's down here at the bottom right where my cursor is. No, that's me. Rennie, 20N, he's offline. He's had more victories and more things. I don't know why he's not telling us. I don't think it tells you until you're online. But you get naval, which is newly added to the game. Simulator battle, basically an all-out war fest. You can do these daily reward things where you're fighting off PVC, NPCs, non-player people. These are PvPs. I've never done these squadron arcades or squadron realistic events. But let's get into one of them, and I'm going to go for tank realistic battle. I could go into the air ones, but it's too much to show you at one point. I mean, on a simulated battle, you'll get a little crosshair inside the circle. The crosshair will tell you where your round's going to land. It's not always correct, depending on what upgrade you've got. As you can see at the bottom of my tanks, I've got 18s, 22s, 21s, 3s, 13s. They're my upgrades to what my tank is capable to do. And I'll just give you a quick show, because I'm not explaining it through word of mouth and actually saying it's two different things. You go on the crew, like this. Keen vision, I can spot people through keen vision. My joypad's turned itself off because it's dead, as I was watching Doctor Who last night and forgot to turn off my joypad. If you don't like Doctor Who, don't judge. I like Doctor Who. If you like Doctor Who, good on you. I don't like the new ones though. They're a bit skewy. Don't mind the girl doctor, thank God someone's finally batting a woman's thing, but it's not the same. Range finding, that's to do with the crosshair. Tank reload, you mainly, if you first get an upgrade and you can't do anything, you really want to do targeting and agility and field repair. They're the three key things that you need to do first. Your keen vision, that's just so the gunner can spot them and mark them quicker and turn the cannon and mark them, elevate. Let's just get into one. My mate John will be coming on later on. I was asking him to come on now, but he's at work, so he can't explain the whole give and go gab. He knows more about this game than me. He's been playing it since, when did he say? 2011, 12. It's been out longer than that, I'm positive. Don't call us on it. I don't know how long the game's been out. I've just been playing it since it came out on PlayStation, which was back in 2016 when I had it. No, when did I get my first PlayStation? PS4. Was it 15 or 16? Can't remember. As you'll see on this map, people will take the Echo 4, where the objective B is, because it's a higher vantage point. You can oversee the battlefield. You can't get a shot from everywhere up there, but it is mainly where people sit in camp, especially on realistic battle, because you can't see them until it's too late. And by it's too late, they'll sit in bushes, they'll sit in trees, but if you push too far into a bush, you'll knock the bush down. You can knock trees down, you can smash into walls, but it will damage your tank. Smashing through walls, more of a, right, I need to push forward, this is my only option to get around them, this is what I'm going to have to do. In Tank Arcade, your tanks will build a much higher speed. At the moment mine's around 7 miles an hour, as you can see in the top right corner. I'm in gear 4. We ram per second, whatever it's called. It's that little rev gauge, sitting at 1,500, 1,002. Speed 10. In a simulated battle, that will go up to 24 mile an hour. Just because I've played this class before in a realistic tank, simulated tank battle, that's how I got my stuff to level up. Because when I was new to the game, I couldn't figure out. But this circle I'm looking at, it's following. I don't know if you can see it that well. Aim it up to the sky. That's what I'm staring at. So that's like my cursor. If you want to go into PC definition about it. That little small circle that sits in the middle of it, that's where my cannon is aiming. It's not where my cannon's going to drop its shell. As you can see, I press triangle, I go into the cabin view, press square, I go into the overhead view. It's not all about the sitting and camping game. It's about the capture and defend. You can kill your own teammates on realistic battle. Name of a shield. There you go. Alright. That's my whole penetration round that I've got equipped now, as you can see in the bottom corner. Not the bottom corner, at the bottom of the screen. Let go 4 guys, let go 4. That's where they're sitting on the map. As you can see, when it gets hectic, it gets fucking hectic. That guy's came shooting around the corner. He hasn't realised what type of battle it is. You do get like this type of sit-up. Everyone sits in group 4s or group 3s. People sit in the triangle group, which is one there, and one in the corner in case one dies or one gets flanked behind. I'm always getting flanked. I don't mind dying. I get points for dying, so it doesn't bother us. It does bother us though when I'm not reloading quick enough or stuff like that. I do get frustrated by it. I think the teammate's just died in front of us. Where is he? There he is. Oh. No, that's a teammate. He's not going to be too happy about that since I've just fucking shot his decent tank. You can actually play on this because the bottom left corner, down in the bottom left, it'll show you where your tank tracks are sitting. Your armour is mainly meant to bounce around. It's what a tank's designed to do, bounce the round. Not meant to penetrate, but they've got armour penetration, like I've got equipped now. Whole magnetation charge, which is a round where it goes through the armour and explodes inside of it. And that's another whole fragmentation round. That's like the equivalent of PCP, plastic explosives. When you light it up and it starts sizzling, it gets that hot, it starts fucking shooting out red flares. Well, imagine that inside the fucking shell. That can be quite, but like I say, in this one you can't see them. It's like you've got to spot them yourself type of game. As you can see, I've just got a glimpse of him. Someone else got us from the left. It even shows you how you died and where you died from. And there's the whole answer to it's a waiting game, as you can see from him just shooting that shell there. He sat and waited for a little gap in the wall. SP points, so your spawning points. The better you play, it's not on about how many kills you get, it's on about how you work as a team. So if I go around and outflank and save my team and I don't get a kill, I just divert the fire on me. I'll get high points for that. Even though they get the kill, I get more points for directing the fire towards me away from them so they can finish them off, which is normally the better solution. The green one's my teammate who's on my squadron. You get 2 in a squad. You can get 4 if you invite your friends in and stuff like that. Joe Foss is one of my friends. It's my dad, Buff. He used to play this. Back then I never knew how to invite him into the squad. Now I do. I'm not gone that way because that's too open. You start thinking like that after a while. You start thinking, wait a minute, that's a straight road. He can sit on the other end of that map and see me coming up that road. It's not how I work. But going this way is also another problem, because as I come out there, there could be one sat there. There could be one sitting around this corner waiting for us to come down this road. It's all about what ifs. It's not about let's rush in and get the kill. Like that there, that's a good example. You can see him, just sat around the corner. I can't get him. he can't get me. But if I come around that corner, he can get me. Don't critical it. It even tells you where you've hit them. And there's no way around killing that tank. That's a level 5 tank. Should have thought about that. I should have actually had a good look at him before I fucking rushed in like that. But like I show you, you can be a level 1 tank and still hurt a level 5 tank. The divisions are just key points to see this is possible, that's possible. It's like a normal war. You can have shit German tanks, or you can have a Panzer versus a fucking Mark II. The Panzer's gonna win, but the Mark II's gonna do that damage if it gets the right angle. That's all it's basically down to. Right, now I've done that, I'll jump into a sim arcade one, just to quickly give you the lower down on this one. I am gonna use my, not me British ones, don't like me British tanks. Don't like me USA tanks neither. I like me Germany and USR tanks. That's the tanks I prefer. I'm British myself. It kills us to see it. But the British tanks you get, they are good. They're just not my cup of tea. Everyone has a different set of tanks. My mate John, he likes his British and USR. I like my USR and me Russian tanks. I mean me Germany tanks, not Russian. USR is Russia. But that's because I know Germany has Panzers, and I like me Panzer. It is an ultimate tank. They have equalled it out by putting modern tanks in, so you can get tanks from World War II and the war that's going on now. You don't want to say it's World War III because no one's involved, but after the war ends it'll probably be classed as World War III, so I mean World War II wasn't classed World War II, was it? Not till after the war. No matter how many people try and say it, because that's what it tells them in a fucking history book. Which you forget, a history book writes out someone's opinion. Like, that was my opinion. I'm not telling you it's factual because I weren't there at the time, but that is generally my opinion. World War is not classed as World War until after the war ends and everyone looks back and goes, fuck me, how many people died, why, that was a massacre, let's never let that happen again. And then you sit there and think, there's a war going on now, so much for not letting it happen again, guys. This is why I sit on the computer. I tend not to get involved in that stuff because it angers us. I am political, but I keep my political views to myself. Don't entice people to believe what I believe. What I believe comes from my education of life. Then again, it's wrong. I like listening to other people's educations of life. I like listening to other people's point of views. I like sussing out. I like picking the dots, really. I'll say mine, they say theirs, we'll take the two sides and we'll go right, yes, right, yes, right, yes. There is no wrong answer, because it's history. History was never correctly written. History is written by the victors. Oh fuck, where'd that round come from? You'll see soon enough when I get around this corner, you'll see what I mean by the light with like the 4th of July with the red cursor. This is just to help people. Oh, that one's not light enough. Oh, it's got a smoke shield, that's why. Wondering what was going on there. You can damage them with your 45mm cannons. Like I say, my reload times are a lot longer. I can't fire my cannon, he's destroyed my cannon. I need to wait till we load it up. I'm dead. Even though it says green, it doesn't mean you can fire. Yeah, it's a good little shot. So I can't wait till I level up a bit, so I'm sitting in their ranks, like rank 3, rank 4. I'll be the unstoppable one, like that, where they just boom, 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 straight in here. Simulated in the realistic battles, you repair your tank much more quicker in a simulated battle. I think that's just to keep people interested. Activate sonar. Am I still in the simulated battle? I feel like I am. No, I'm not, I'm in arcade. No, no. I'm still in realistic. Explains a lot. You've got to double check what you've gone into as well. You can't just go, oh, I'm gone in that, click. It's a bit like PUBG when you click duos and then you click back and then you're not in duos, are you? Like that. You get a flank on people, you wait for them to pull up, and you massacre them. Don't give them that 5-minute braver, because when you do, you don't want a chance of getting them. Like that. Kept him occupied until my teammate came around. I would have got the most points to that. Even though he got the kill and I got the assist, I would have still got the higher points. Someone's now captured. I'm adamant, come on, I'm adamant, I'm gonna kill you. You have to know the tanks as well. Because where you shoot, that's where the most damage is. You need to know where the box of ammo is gonna be. Like him there, he knew where my box of ammo was, he moved into position, shot my box of ammo, my ammo exploded, killed us. He probably wouldn't have killed us if he never got that. I am in fucking... I'm in simulator because I've got SP points. I should only get, when you're in simulated, you only get 3 spawns of the tank. In aircraft in aircraft arcade, you can spawn as many aircrafts depending on what game you're playing. If you're playing airfield capture, you get as many aircraft as you can carry in. If you're playing destroy the ground units, you'll only get 3 planes to choose from. Make sure with the bombing planes are perfect, but make sure it's an agile plane so you can turn, you can shoot and get into position quicker. Like that there, I've seen him gone behind him. He would have got the most points out of that one because he was aiming at him, he was the diversion. Even though he was getting massacred, he took more rounds, he took more. They can't physically come from anywhere at this point. So I don't like sitting in the open. Artillery fire, that's a give and take if it's going to hit you. Some artillery fire is not precise, some artillery fire is. Help, I'm alone on E and B. Alpha Bravo. Shit. Oh, I need help on this one, man. Rubber shield. Never that can be. He had the angle on me, I didn't have the angle on him. Sometimes the higher ground is not the best. How did he shoot me? What's he? That round, we all seen that round came down, didn't it? How the hell did he get me? I mean, unrealistic, the amount of spawn points you get. It's determines whether or not you can actually take it. Artillery fire. Don't get us wrong, the barrage of artillery fire is good, depending how fast you upgrade it. I mean, you really want to cut that timing down from when you activate it. You want that timing down to 2.6 seconds to get out, but sometimes you do have to drop it on top of yourself. We've all played Battlefield 1 where that bit where they're stuck in the mud. That does happen on this game. Whereas if you trap someone and they're like, oh, we'll just fire artillery down on ourselves. I done it in my last video, which now I have to delete because I realised I was muted. And I had a bit of trouble at the door at the end of the video, and I had to grab something and it was caught on camera and I had to delete it for that reason. If you watched to the end of the video, you know what I mean. If you didn't, I'm not going to say it. Oh, I didn't see that one. No. I want to hurry up off this so I can show you what an air simulated battle is. But actually I might go for the naval because you can use planes in naval battles. They're not that good, but you can still use a plane, and I can show you what I mean by agile, because they will be shooting at me just like the game would in a realistic air battle. You'd see the bullets fly towards you and you've got that split second of a gap to turn your wing and dodge the bullet. If you don't dodge the bullet, it'll put a hole in your wing, which will stop you being aerodynamic. I mean, you can shoot your wing off and you can still fly. But, I mean, I flew with one wing on and fucking my back tail end on, and I've ended up having to do the whole game like that. Until eventually I couldn't go high enough. I was like that until I started going down and down and down. Couldn't kill anyone, it was pointless, so I just put my wheels out and tried to land. Like the reasonable thing would be to do in that position. The answer would be land, get your soft landing achievement. If you shot down, get out. Try and do it as safely as possible. I mean, unless you've got any choice but to go up. That was the whole point of the tank battle though. You stayed in your tank until you died. The only time you were evacuated, it was basically so the enemy couldn't take the tank. You didn't just take a couple of shots like you do on Battlefield and jump out and quickly repair it. It was a, right, this tank ain't gone anywhere, they can't fix it, we can't fix it, right, we can abandon and take the fight to the ground. Oh, how did ricochet? Oh, wait, I'm artillery. I'm artillery. Oh, you shot me cannon. Did it hit me cannon? Nah, hit me engine. They're probably not the best ones to go into battle with on realistic. I'll turn the hangar and see what the problem is. Even if you leave the battle before it's finished, you still get the achievement for it. Now there it saves all my acknowledgements of what I've done in the game. See, I was in realistic. I fucking knew I was. As soon as I didn't light up, I knew I was still sat in realistic. So I was going to show you air battles. I mean, I could show you navals, that's quite new, so I haven't really got any major naval ships. You can select your servers by pressing square, as you can see there, EU, Russia, Saudi Arabia, USA. My mate John's just got the EU server. I have all my servers on, because I've noticed sometimes everyone sat in a Russian server or everyone sat in a Pacific server. Everyone has a Pacific server. I mean, when you first start the game, it'll put you in an EU server, because if you're from the UK, you'll be in an EU server. If you're from America, you'll be in the US server. If you're from Russia, Saudi Arabia, vice versa. If you're from Central Asia, you'll be in Central Asia server. If you're from the RU server, you'll be from Russian area server, like Holland and stuff like that. Basically Amsterdam to Russia. EU is from the other side of Holland, France, all that type of stuff. That is EU. I want to show you the arcade thing, but actually, get on, I'll just do this, because not many people fight in a realistic battle when it comes to planes. I'm still an arcade tank. Say it's switched over the arcade tanks. Don't get frustrated by it, it happens sometimes. Just make sure you double click it. I've got my Japans. These are me agile plane. As you can see, there, max speed, it's added it on. That wouldn't be the real speed if I was... Oh no, I'm in realistic. There you go. So you can see the difference. That's a realistic, that's arcade. Arcade I can go 112. Adds a couple on. Helps your maneuver and stuff. I mean, if you want to get your research points and stuff like that, I suggest you do it in arcade. And cheers for the invite. I'm not playing PUBG at the moment. I'm illustrating this game, what I tried to do yesterday, but I had my mic on mute. As you can tell, everyone likes us going on PUBG. I try my best. I'm good, but I'm also shit on PUBG, so send us a friend request. I'm not the best at PUBG. That's why I say to people, no one appreciates how hard it is to get this footage that I do on YouTube. Everyone just thinks, it's just a normal gameplay. No, COD is a normal gameplay. You can get the same exact footage on COD that every other person's got. You can't do something different what isn't already on YouTube. But I like games like PUBG where everyone's sat in a different point. You have to think for yourself, not just run around a corner. This is why I like this game, because this game isn't COD. And COD is a kids game where you run around corners and you just spray and pray. Battlefield is a should we engage, should we not game. You can see me low out. I don't like me 50, I like me 100s. Yes, I get 2 in it. But I've also got me tracers, air targets and me armoured targets equipped. I do like that vehicle, to be fair. Like, there you go, as you can see there. This is an arcade. You can see their planes, they can see you, which I don't like at all. Oh shit, I just dropped my bomb by mistake. Wrong button. If you're going to set your fuel in your vehicle, set it on low minimum. You're not going to be flying around in the air that long, you don't need a full tank of fuel. A full tank of fuel will slow you down. I need to change my flaps to combat. Don't have combat, I just have take off and race. Keep it take off. Don't forcefully push your analogs, because it won't work forcefully pushing stuff. You don't see a pilot fucking kicking his rudders out hard as fuck. You see them gently pressing the rudders. Like I say, you get shot from all angles. You even get shot from the ground units as well. These are just non-player people on the ground. And this is why you don't forcefully push it, because it takes ages. And then there's some flaps. You can get air brakes, as you can see in the bottom. Oh, he's hit me oil. As you can see in the top right, it tells you he's hit me oil, blah blah blah. Where is he behind? Is that a plane? That is a plane. You can max out your weapon. Overheating, 79 degrees Celsius. If your oil gets hotter and hotter and hotter, critical speed push down on those. Your controls will be inverted when you first play. Change that. I was gonna get shot down or I was gonna crash, one or two. I like this plane. This plane is fast, it's agile, and it's a rank 2. Slow your engine, quickly you turn. You just appear to floating in the breeze at that point. You'll see the difference on realistic compared to arcade. Arcade, I can make that turn. There you go, that's with the engine on, this is with the engine off. You have to slow down a bit. But you're more of a ghost target. You got the one lucky shot the pilot out. Which one is my beast? Pretty sure it's that one. I call it a beast because it's fast, it's agile. This one is my quick plane. This is my air target plane. Now I'm going to fight the air troops and show you. Quickly report. So most people would have tried to go for the first one. I want the second one because it break off in 2 different ways. That little small curtain lamp. You can't turn, you can't fix your position on the guns. You've been sprayed, very good. Finish them off. He would have died either way, but the point is to not let them get that safe landing. You want to kill them in the air. He's injured, but he's still flying. He's had his pilot knocked out. Fuck. It's time to show you what a safe landing is, and that's not one of them. Sometimes you can lose your wing and land. Like I say, it depends on what operation in arcade, depends on how many spawns you get. You don't always get the full squadron of planes. Unless they've changed it since the update, because I haven't played this game in like, played until I've seen a couple of people using keyboard and mouse. I'm not one of them that does my research on YouTube. I'm one of them that find out for myself. Like PUBG, people's using keyboard and mouse. You can't physically plug in a keyboard and mouse and use a keyboard and mouse. I know so many people who's bought a Sony keyboard and mouse just to play PUBG. It's never worked. Fortnite it works for. PUBG, nah. But PC, like the footage I got before with that For Whom the Bell Tolls Metallica theme tune when I'm on top of the cliff, you can see him elevate his gun straight up and then it went back down. That isn't sensitivity, that's him moving his cursor and he's panicked and it's shot up. So PUBG is cross-played as well, it's not just this. Many games are getting cross-share played now. I mean cross-share played, cross-platformed. Many games are getting cross-platformed now. Because all the games that's coming out for PlayStation are out on PC. PC brings the games out first, brings it to Windows, which is Xbox One. I was about to say 360, but it is Xbox One. Many people I know has got an Xbox. I don't like them personally. I don't see the point in them. The only good thing about Xbox is they get the shit version of a game. Then when they fix all the bugs and they sort all the lags out, PlayStation get it. But PC has got them lags and little bugs in them which has put us off PC. That's why I converted to PlayStation. Don't believe us, just think to yourself how many times has a PC player kicked off because they've been lagged out or dropped under the map or stuff like that. How many times have you heard a PS4 player complain about it? PUBG, yes, everyone's complained about it once or twice, but that's because you run into a room when nothing's loaded in properly.
Feedback note was on there. Ew.